This week we brought you David Scott's story. The Kiffness star has been knocking on the door of the South African Music Rights Organization to get proper compensation for the millions owed to all artists for the use of their music on radio stations, particularly ones operated by the SABC. The South African music industry is reported to be in catastrophic decline due to years of neglect, and not all the blame should go to the pandemic alone, but rather the royalties problems continuing for some time now. We've got the CEO of the Music Performance Rights Association, Pfanani, Lishivha, live with us now to discuss this further. Thank you for your time, Pfanani. We appreciate it. The story we hear from artists a lot of the time is we're not getting our royalties, or we're getting our royalties, but it comes in a trickle, and there's a lot of confusion and a lack of clarity. Where is the disconnect here, Pfanani?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think to answer that question, we need to bear in mind that there are different music rights that are administered in South Africa and worldwide. SAMRO administers what is known as neighboring right, and in South Africa, neighboring right is commonly known as needle time right. And if I may speak on behalf of SAMRO, because I can't speak on behalf of the entire music industry, SAMRO is well known for distributing royalties correctly and efficiently. For example, in 2020 alone, we distributed in excess of 300 million rands between January 2020 and the 31st of December 2020. So I think when people say that maybe royalties are not being processed and distributed correctly, they may probably be talking about different organizations within the music industry. But if I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking on behalf of SAMRO. We don't have that problem. You can even read our annual reports, and you will see that all the time when we collect license fees from music users, we distribute not less than 92% of everything that has been collected at a go. So we don't have a problem of not distributing royalties. But if I may talk about the SABC problem, that problem is being resolved between ourselves and the SABC, because despite the fact that in the last 5 years we have distributed in excess of 1 billion rands of royalties, not a single cent has come from the SABC, and that's because we've been having a dispute with the SABC on the payment of these royalties. But we are in the process of resolving that problem, and we are very hopeful that by early next year, we would start distributing SABC royalties.
Pfanani, if you say that you are distributing the royalties and there's a huge chunk of the revenue that you're collecting that is going to royalties, why does it seem like the artists feel they're not getting their fair share? Do you provide them with statements? Do you provide clarity about what exactly is going on so that there isn't that confusion?
Yes, we provide them with statements. And that is why I was saying that it could be that if you're talking about the music industry in general, because we are not the only organization that handles royalties. You also have SAMRO, you also have Capaso, you also have RISA. But if we are talking only about SAMRO, we don't have a problem of artists complaining about us. You can even go on social media. Almost on a daily basis, you will see how much artists are praising us for doing the right thing. In fact, the Kiffness, last week, he was on Twitter thanking SAMRO, saying, "Thank you very much for being the most responsive in the company in the music industry, for looking after my family. Whenever I submit claims for royalties, you guys pay me within a week." So that is why I'm saying, as SAMRO, we don't have a problem. Yes, we provide statements. Any artist who wants to know how much they've earned and where the money came from, they know they can contact us, and those statements will be made available.
All right, Pfanani, I have seen a complaint from an artist, but it was only one. So maybe the majority are happy, but a little bit more needs to be done to address the few that are unhappy, if it is just a few. Let's talk about the admin costs of running SAMRO. Just how much of what you collect from artists goes to your admin?
That's a good question, and thank you for that. the regulations on the establishment of collecting societies in the music industry, which were published in 2006 by the Department of Trade and Industry, or the Minister of Trade and Industry, and which are only applicable to SAMRO, state very well that we cannot exceed more than 20% of whatever we collect, which means our cost to income ratio must be a maximum of 20%. And before COVID, we had managed to bring that cost to income ratio to 14%. But unfortunately, because of COVID, when income from broadcasters went down, we also had a problem of restaurants, pubs, retail shops, etc., not operating. We found ourselves at 19% at the end of last year. And there was an article that was published last week, which was a very misleading article, where the journalist, you can clearly see that she has failed to interpret a financial statement. That article states that we spent 40 million rands on salaries. That is completely wrong and incorrect. The journalist has failed to distinguish between admin costs and salary costs. Salary costs form part of the entire admin cost. So in our cost to income ratio is less than 20%. And if you compare us with the rest of the world, we are on par with our counterparts in the rest of the world. And in fact, when you compare us with the likes of PPL is our counterpart in the UK. We are spending far less than what they spend. Yes, in percentage terms, their percentage may look smaller because their revenues are in excess of 11 billion rands, while our revenue are not even 500 million rands. But if we talk about the actual amount that is spent, not the percentage, we are spending far less than the likes of PPL, whose revenues exceed 10 billion rands when ours don't even go to 500 million rands.
Pfanani, thank you so much for your time. We've run out of time, unfortunately, but we appreciate you coming here and trying to provide some clarity. The CEO of the Music Performance Rights Association, Pfanani Lishivha, thank you for your time.